Sometime before Easter 1900, a Greek sponge diver discovered the wreck of an ancient cargo ship off Antikythera Island, which is located to the northwest of Crete. Divers subsequently retrieved several bronze and marble statues and other artifacts from the site. The interest of the professional archaeologists brought in to conserve and assess the finds was initially centered on the fine statues, and the Antikythera Mechanism itself was only discovered to be of immense interest in May 1902, when an archaeologist noticed that a piece of rock from the site had a gear wheel embedded in it. Examination revealed that the rock was in fact a heavily encrusted and corroded mechanism that had survived the shipwreck in 3 main parts and dozens of smaller fragments. The device itself was surprisingly thin, about 33 cm high, 17 cm wide and 9 cm thick. It's made of bronze and was originally mounted in a wooden frame. The Antikythera Mechanism is one of the world's oldest known geared devices. It's puzzled and intrigued historians of science and technology since its discovery. The device seemed to have had a range of interlocking gears made of bronze and a hand crank to give a turning movement to the geared mechanism, plus a display that showed information about the moon, sun and planets against a background of stars. Following decades of cleaning the device, in 1951 British science historian Derek J. de Sola Price undertook systematic investigation of the mechanism. In June 1959, Price's An Ancient Greek Computer was the lead article in Scientific American. This article was the result of the first thorough description of the device, based solely on visual inspection and measurements. Modern X-ray and 3D mapping technology have allowed scientists to peer deeper into the remains of the mechanism and learn even more of its secrets. In the 2000s, researchers revealed a kind of instruction manual inscribed on parts of the mechanism. This had never been seen before. The text, written in tiny typeface but ancient Greek, helped them complete the puzzle of what the machine did and how it was operated. In all, it's astounding. The mechanism had several dials and clock faces, each of which served a different function for measuring movements of the sun, moon, stars and planets, but they were all operated by one main crank. Little stones or glass orbs that would have moved across the machine's face to show the motion of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn and Jupiter in the night sky. The position of the sun and moon relative to the 12 constellations of the zodiac. Another dial forecasting solar and lunar eclipses, and oddly predictions about their colour. A solar calendar charting the 365 days of the year. A lunar calendar counting a 19-year lunar cycle. A tiny pearl-sized ball that rotated to show you the phase of the moon. And another dial of the mechanism that counted down the days to regularly scheduling sporting events around the Greek islands, like the Olympics. The mechanics of this are incredibly complicated. The first old spaghetti factory restaurant opened at this location in Gastown in 1970. The restaurant is wonderfully decorated with antiques and artifacts. The old spaghetti factory has 4 ghosts in residence. The first and best known is the spirit of a tram conductor. He frequents the old trolley car that's parked inside the restaurant. The trolley number 53 was once part of the British Columbia Electric Railway Company's fleet of electric trams. Built in nearby Westminster in 1904, it served as a public transit trolley in and around Vancouver for many years. In 1957, it and dozens of other trolley cars were demolished in favour of the electric and diesel buses that are commonplace in the city today. The trolley car was installed in the building in 1969 during the setup of the restaurant. It's up for debate whether the conductor's ghost came with the trolley or not. Some say he died in a collision on an underground line below the restaurant, but this is unlikely because Vancouver's trolley cars all ran at street level. It's believed the ghost probably came with the tram car. Regardless of his origin, various staff members have seen the ghost of the conductor. He always appears seated at the same dining table inside the streetcar late at night. Also, place settings are moved by unseen hands, and inexplicable cold spots are experienced inside the car. The second ghost at the old spaghetti factory is a small, mischievous spirit with a rugged face and bright red hair. Simply known as the Little Red Man, he calls out to staff members by name and strolls through the kitchen. His favourite prank is to surprise female customers in the ladies' washroom. On one particular occasion, 2 ladies saw the dwarfish man leave one of the cubicles, dressed in a red shirt and red long johns. After looking at them and laughing mischievously, he left through the washroom door. To their surprise, no one else had seen the unmistakable man leave the washroom. It's said that one of the women took a picture of the ghost, but when the film was developed, he appeared as a blur. Nobody knows who the little red man is or why he haunts the restaurant. The restaurant's third ghost is that of a young boy. In early 2012, this ghost gave a female server a terrible fright. She was in the back section of the restaurant helping to close up for the night. While she was busy resetting some tables, a boy ran past her towards the very back. With it being so late and no customers left in the restaurant, she thought it was strange that a boy was running around, so she followed him. The boy ran under a table alongside the back wall, and then turned around and looked at her. When she looked at his face, she saw his eye sockets were empty. Terrified, she ran to the front of the restaurant to tell the manager about what she'd seen. She told him that she couldn't work at the restaurant any longer, and resigned on the spot. The hellhound is a supernatural canine found in folklore. Sometimes known as black dogs, a wide variety of hellish supernatural dogs occur in mythologies around the world, similar to the dragon. Features that have been attributed to hellhounds include black fur, glowing red eyes or sometimes glowing yellow eyes, super strength, speed and ghostly characteristics. Legend says that if someone is to stare into the eyes 3 or more times, the person will definitely die. In cultures that associate the afterlife with fire, hellhounds may have fire-based abilities and appearances. They're often assigned to guard the entrances to the world of the dead, such as graveyards and burial grounds, or undertake other duties related to the afterlife or the supernatural, such as hunting lost souls or guarding a supernatural treasure. In European legends, seeing a hellhound or hearing it howl may either be an omen of death or even a cause of death. There is said to be a different breed of hellhound thought to roam, mostly in Kentucky. It's said to have blackish fur and mane running halfway down its back and large paws that look similar to a black bear's front paws. It's also said to wreak havoc on livestock. It was born of marble rock before it came with the most luxurious hotels in all of San Antonio, Texas. In comparison to many other historic hotels, the Emily Morgan Hotel has only been in action since its grand opening in 1984. Since then, the number of accolades the Emily Morgan has received has been countless. In 2015, it was inducted into the Historic Hotels of America organization. Its historic importance within San Antonio was noted even earlier, when it was recognized by the National Register of Historic Places as part of the Alamo Plaza Historic District. With its rather unique past, it should come as no wonder that the Emily Morgan is considered to be one of the most haunted hotels in all of Texas. According to various reports, even some given by the hotel's own sales manager, the most haunted floors are the 7th, 9th and 14th in addition to the basement. It was these particular floors that at one time functioned as the psychiatric ward, surgery level waiting area and morgue. At the Emily Morgan, almost all of the paranormal reports involve ghosts and spirits from when the building was the medical building. Guests have reported strange things occurring on these particular levels. The sensation of feeling something cool brush up against you, even as the lingering heavy scent of medicine settles in your nose. Up on the 14th floor, the scent is more than just overwhelming. This hotel was listed as the 3rd most haunted hotel in the world. For a long time, people have puzzled about one of the biggest collapses in human history. Why did the Maya people abandon dozens of cities they've built in the Yucatan Peninsula and allow what had been a highly developed civilization turn into ruins? Some have theorized that the Maya were probably defeated in battle by rival peoples, or that the ruling class was overthrown in a peasant revolt. Others have more out there theories, such as an invasion of UFOs. But in a study published in 2012, Arizona State University researchers, who analysed archaeological data with an eye to figuring out environmental changes in the Mayan heyday, found evidence to prove a theory put forward by historian Jared Diamond in his 2005 book Collapse. The Mayan the researchers discovered had burned and chopped down so much of the forest they had to alter the land's ability to absorb solar radiation, which in turn made clouds and rainfall scarce. That made a naturally occurring drought, and caused erosion and soil depletion, which caused agriculture to fail. With less food available, workers were forced to leave the lowland cities to avoid starvation, and everything collapsed as a result. In 1821, Tilloch's philosophical magazine carried out an unusual item about a stonemason named David Virtue, who made an astonishing discovery while working on a large chunk of rock that had come about 22 feet below the surface. Upon breaking it open, he found a lizard embedded in the stone. It was coiled up in a round cavity of its own form, being an exact impression of the animal. It was about 1.25 inches long of brownish yellow colour, and had a round head with bright sparkling projecting eyes. It was apparently dead, but after being about 5 minutes exposed to the air it showed signs of life. It soon ran about with much energy. There are numerous documented accounts of such findings, mostly involving frogs, toads or lizards. Most often the animal comes out alive, and very often there is an imprint of their skin or shape on the cavity in which they're entombed. This raises a number of interesting questions. How could the animal have gotten in there and survived? How did rock, which geology tells us takes hundreds if not thousands of years to form, take shape around the animal? Also, how long could the animal have been in there? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.